Have you seen the Retro Codex? Really, really cool website. So it's a website that teaches you things that you learned in school that are now disproven. So you can go in and look at what year you graduated high school, and it'll tell you what you learned in school and have now been disproven. Jared, can you pull this up for me? So I put this in as 2000s, which would be for me and George. Lightning never strikes the same place twice. Lightning has struck several places multiple times. Empire State Building is struck approximately 25 times a year. Wearing red near a bull will cause it to charge. Bulls may not be able to distinguish the color red from other colors. What triggers the bull is movement and physical provocation, not color. The red cape is to conceal blood stains. Goldfish have a 3-second memory. Goldfish retain memories for weeks, months, and possibly years. George Washington had wooden teeth. He did wear dentures, but they were made of other materials such as tin, gold, and lead. Human teeth from enslaved individuals. It's a bit gnarly. You need to wait 20 to 30 minutes after you eat to swim, or you'll get stomach cramps and drown. There's no clinical evidence for that. There's another one. Go a bit further down.
I see.
Oh, if you roll your eyes, then you get
in
stuck.
School and folk wisdom checked on the top left. I was like, I don't recall getting...
Go down a bit more. If you pee in the pool, everyone will know because it'll turn water green.
Hot water washing hands is not
go back up
in cold water. Yeah, right there. Interesting. I'm learning a few things.
Water temperature has not been found to impact the antibacterial efficacy of hand washing. I didn't even know that. After a person dies, their hair or fingernails can keep growing.
Who thinks Earth is the only planet with water? I don't know about that.
But in the 2000s, might you have thought that? Because Pluto being a planet would have been true when we went to high school.
Yeah, true.
Brown sugar is healthier than white sugar. Yeah, I just like it's nice to find. And then obviously all of this stuff with the food pyramid, that's got turned literally upside down. So
some of these will end up being overturned too, but yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I think when I was thinking about, the way kids are educated, I think that schools do something that I think in some cases, at least they traditionally, that is maybe the right thing to do, which is you teach the wrong story, the simple wrong story first, just to let the concepts, and then later you start to build the nuance and you realize that but that's in kind of like Thanksgiving. I learned early on that Thanksgiving was this wonderful thing, and the Pilgrims came, and the Indians at the time, the Indians were and everyone was happy, and they had this nice feast, and just Columbus discovered the New World, but no, he didn't. But and just keep it. Let the basic story seep in, and then later you can be actually, this is an allegory kind of for that represents a much larger, more complicated, much nastier story often. And I think sometimes right now what they're doing is they're out of kind of, I don't know, kind of political reasons or whatever. They're teaching kind of very, very kind of a hardcore first story to really young kids right away. That
they're front loading the gnarly version.
Yeah. Exactly, and maybe going too far even in that direction. When I mean, this is a whole other can of worms, but I think that maybe I want to.
But the disguise on.
But I know, I think that I do think American children should be taught first all these great things about America. They should learn that they're in this great country that's complicated, that has not been perfect, but they've done a lot of great things. And it's this wonderful thing, and patriotism, and be really proud. And then later, then you can learn a lot more nuance. Or it's the same reason that I think you shouldn't be teaching your kid, that you think your dad's a good person, but actually, he cheated when in his 20s. That he did, he got fired. You don't do that. You start with the dad's great, of course. And then later in life, when the kid's an adult, you start, this part isn't controversial anymore. You start to then say, dad can say to you, yeah, I'm not perfect. I did this and this, but yeah,
you don't need to front load.
Kids are kids, and it's a very different kind of person to teach.
Well, also because I remember talking to a very close friend of mine who's got a bunch of kids. Wonderful guy, very successful in what he does. And I asked him what his parenting advice would be, and his first rule was, you need to teach your kids to be optimists, because action flows from optimism, and agency flows from optimism, right? And so what you're describing sort of creates a picture that you don't want to aspire to engage with, and seems antithetical to that.
Or second, third, fourth graders just hammer climate change. Your future's destroyed. What? Why? Who thinks this is a good idea?
Right.
To little kids.
Well, and then the older generations are like, oh my God, these younger generations are so apathetic. I'm like, you're getting
Who do you think told
waterboarded
them?
with existential threat all day. Yeah, you would be too.
I guess it makes sense that the younger you are, the more neuroplastic you are, right? And even statements like that are quite reflexive. So if I go on the news tomorrow and say, it's going to be a sunny day. I have no impact on whether it's going to be a sunny day. But a reflexive system is if I go on the news tomorrow and say there's going to be a bank run, I have an impact on whether there's going to be a bank run. And if you go in thinking America's a terrible country, that's going to be quite a reflexive thing for your entire youth. I mean, it's quite funny listening to not that you were complaining, Tim, but an American talk about the lack of patriotism in their country.
Sat with two Brits next to the
yeah, it's kind of like Chris talking to me about like how he's frustrated with the size of his forearms right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, okay, I understand, but yeah, I think it's interesting for America to be going through that when you're still by far the tallest midget in the room.
Right. Totally. And by the way, there's so much British history to be proud of.
Oh, don't get me started.
This negative lens.
Don't get me started, Tim. I declare, I said this to Chris previously, like we are the most insecure in terms of internal reputation versus external. So if you travel anywhere else in the world, apart from a few places, they often like love the UK.
Yeah.
But internally, they often criticize themselves the most. I'll never forget a friend of mine his sister came home one day and she said, you know what? She goes, Britain is the racist country on earth. And he paused for a second and he just said, compared to where? She couldn't answer.
That line about capitalism, it's the worst system apart from all of the other ones.
No.
It's just a crazy distortion lens and it's so self-defeating and it's like this crazy,
Jack Butcher's got this great line. He says, unlearning is 100 times harder than learning. And if you're laying down those myelin sheaths and some kid who's 5 years old, 6, 7, I don't know when you start to understand what climate is and what power structures look like, but yeah, you're probably best starting off with generalized optimism and getting into specific pessimism or specific scrutiny as opposed to generalized scrutiny.
High school, maybe, you know, like maybe a little middle school, elementary school is just.
Most people don't realize how much being dehydrated impacts their performance, which is why for the last 5 years, I've started pretty much every morning with Element. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything that you need and nothing that you don't. This orange salt in a cold glass of water is like a sweet, salty, orangey nectar, and I really tell the difference when I take it versus when I don't. It plays a critical role in reducing muscle cramps and fatigue, helps to optimize brain health, and regulates your appetite while also curbing cravings. Best of all, they have a no questions asked refund policy with an unlimited duration, so you can buy it and try it for as long as you want, and if you don't like it for any reason, they'll just give you your money back. Plus, they offer free shipping in the US. Right now, you can get a free sample pack of Element's most popular flavors with your first purchase by going to the link in the description below or heading to drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. That's drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. Congratulations, you made it to the end of a clip, and the full-length episode is available right here. Go on.